I just finished this piece and I'm obsessed. I would love to create more, and I have got so many supplies. I mean, and I've got a ton of fabric, and so I just want to create some more. So for this attempt, I want to try to use that frame that I originally bought for my tatreez. I'm gonna measure better this time. Don't know why, but I'm still feeling the beige. It is literally meant to be. Perfect. So I've got my waist canvas. I want to pick out my yarn, my embroidery thread colors. As you can see, I have got a lot. My goal with this is to learn more of the stitches. So what if I just do like rows of like the different stitch types? I don't know why I'm kind of vibing with purple. I could do like, like a gradient of different purples or something. Look at that. That is gonna be so pretty. Like four there. I kind of need to measure everything out, because if I don't measure, the same thing's gonna happen as last time. I don't know where I got this pouch, but it is where I hold all of my supplies. Like last time, I kind of just draped the fabric over and then cut it. Okay. What I am gonna do is wrap the fabric just loosely, and then I'm gonna do the waist canvas, and then I'm just going to sew this in. I'm gonna get rid of the frame. I'm gonna just space stitch, so I'm not doing it in the last row, because if I do it in the last row, it will start to get undone as I keep going. So making sure to just go a few rows up. Okay, one side down, so now is when I go and I start to like really restructure the fabric to make sure, you know, there's no like lumps and bumps. I know it needs to be ironed, but we're gonna pretend it doesn't. I did the whole border. Now with everything set up, I'm gonna grab my laptop so we can do some pattern work. I found this website called Tatreez Traditions, and they have a bunch of like free like motif. From theirs, they've got just like a bunch of like the borders and all of that. I am going to just pick some. A lot of the motifs are based off of things from Palestine. So the ones that I love are, they just have such cute names. So there's one called Ears of Corn, which is Dura in Arabic. They're all symbolic in Palestine, and I love that. I think it is so pretty to see a culture that is just really tied in the like symbolism into their art. Oh, let me get my measuring tape first, because I want these evenly spaced, and it will really, really annoy me if they're not evenly spaced. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. So 12 divided by 5, 2.4. 0.4 is close to 0.5. 3/8, maybe? 3. Oh my God, why can't we just use the metric system, please? Like right here. I think I'll make them like 4 inches tall. And then we said it's 12, so 12 minus 8 is 4. 4 divided by 3, 1 3/8. So now I'm going to use my iPad with the Tatreez Traditions templates, and I'm going to just create something. I screenshot it on my laptop, and then I'm just going to paste it in. So I just need to go through these and just like decide on where I want to place them and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back. We're back. I played around with the design. Let me show it off. I think with that, I can now just start to lay everything out. What I need to do is, the pattern here is so long, I need to match it to here. Also want to plan out the embroidery colors. Colors are planned out. I'm gonna write their numbers at the top. So now I've got the colors. I've got basically how I want to lay them out. I'm gonna do a little bit of the math to figure out how long all of these are, but after that, that's when I can go in and start. That's why buying patterns is a lot easier, but with this, I think It just kind of gives me a little bit more creative freedoms, as well as just kind of forces me to put in the efforts and the thought process. I am not a fan of working with this big waste canvas. You keep seeing me go like this and going under and over. I want to fix it. So to fix this, I use binder clips. Yeah, I've got like a handful of binder clips. So I use these and I will just fold the fabric. You just got to make sure you don't fold it in a way to where it overlaps and you accidentally grab the fabric. I'm going to flip the project over and just fold like this, and then, wow, I used up all the binder clips. And you can see I just left this. This is like my ultimate hack on just being like speedy, other than actually doing it properly, which I don't do. To start, you kind of also have to still center everything. So this pattern has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. With 7 columns, there's one in the center, and then you work your way this way. So this is my center here. It skips up the first row as well. So technically I start here. With the yarn, I don't do that much yarn. I try to make sure I do small strands or else it gets tangled and then I get frustrated and then my blood boils and then I quit. I split my threads. Okay, the strategy is to put this end in your mouth or to hold it down with something like your elbow and then pull. I don't know why, but you have to hold it taut and then you can easily separate. I have separated the threads. I will be working down each row. So we'll start with 1, then we'll do 2, which is a stitch here, skip 1, a stitch there, and then work backwards, obviously, working from left to right to left. So for this one, it's actually really, really simple. I'm gonna keep this stitch to the side here, and then I've got this. And so I've got my piece of thread, which I will thread my needle with. First try, maybe? Yes. See, sometimes I'm good at something. I'm gonna start, I have to measure it out, so I'm gonna try to keep that stitch in the center here. So that first stitch needs to be across the center of this, and you can see here in this pattern they skip a row to start, and I think in order to fit here I'm also gonna skip a row. So I'm gonna go ahead and start right here. I'm just gonna pull this through. I'm gonna make sure to grab the tail with my left hand, and then I'm going to cross over and complete the cross stitch, and then I'm gonna go back over this way and then complete the whole stitch. And then while I'm doing that, I want to make sure is looped around the end, that way it kind of ties it in place, and that way it doesn't come apart in the future. So I'm gonna just go ahead, loop it around, and ta-da! That is now secure. Now for the next row, I'm just gonna go 1 over and then skip a stitch, then do another stitch. So I was in this row, I'm gonna go down 1 row. You can see I am 1 square over, and so I will skip this one, and then I'll do 1 here. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull my needle through. You can see it connects with the one on top. I'm gonna pull the needle through there. Then I'm gonna skip one of these little squares and then go in right there and then pull it through there. I'm then going to go from right to left to finish these stitches, just crossing them over. And like that, we've got the second row complete. For the third row, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to move over 1 stitch to the left, put a square there, skip a stitch, put a square, skip a stitch, put a square. Do that. I'm going to go in right there. Going to complete the half stitch, then go in here. See, I skipped that one right there. I'm then going to complete the half stitch. And then I'm going to skip the next square and then do another half stitch there. Now I will go from right to left to complete these stitches. Now, just like that, that is how I'm gonna do the rest of the pattern. I'll just keep following that all the way down. And then once I get to the end, I will calculate where to stop. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera, and then I'll show you the final results. We have the row completed, which is so exciting. This is so pretty. Honestly, it is such a good basic like border stitch. I brought all the technology again so we can work on the next pattern. My lucky day, the next row, column, whatever, I'm gonna keep messing that up, is corn. So for the corn one, it was like sideways, so I'm gonna have to like, let's do one of these. So for ears of corn, the center of it, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 5. It is upside down, which I didn't realize when I was doing it. So with this pattern, it kind of just continues, but you can see it's kind of more of like, this is a set, this is a set, because there's a leaf on this side, a leaf on this side, and then it repeats. So keeping that in mind when I try to finish this, because at the end, I kind of want it to be that it ends with this ending and not with this. I'm gonna see what I can do, because obviously I didn't really pre-plan the pattern, but we'll see. But essentially the way I'm working it, there's these 4 right here that I will do first, and then I will do the 3 here, and then I will work the leaf, because the leaf kind of lines up with the second one of these down, and then it lines up right here with this second diagonal. So it just makes it a lot easier if you do this row and then these. That way you can line them up perfectly, because I definitely have gone back and had to undo all of this because I didn't line them up properly. But you can see that the color is super, super light. So I don't know if it's gonna show up on the fabric, but this is the progress so far, and I'm actually obsessed with this. This is probably my new favorite pattern. Oh, the next one's a complicated one. Okay, the next one is the baker's wife, or at least one of them. Oh my god, I can't keep saying that. I don't mean it like that, I promise. It's the thicker bordered one. This is the color. It is a more complicated one. I think I'm just gonna go row by row. So for baker's wife, what is it in Arabic? Mart al-Farran. Yeah, Ferran Farran. Okay. I know how to conjugate. This one's got a lot more detail than the rest of them. It's obviously got the most squares populated, but for this one, I worked, again, row by row. I did 1, 2, 3, skip 1, 1, 2, 3. Then I would do 1, 2, skip 1, add a square, skip 1, add 2, then 1 square, skip a square, add 3, then skip a square, then 1. So you can kind of see the pattern is developing. You basically, it goes 3, 2, 1, 1, 3, 5. So these will decrease as these increase, and you'll always have 1 square gap between the center and the outside border. Pattern kind of ends right here. So that is like 1 square, and then it just repeats. They share this bottom border right here, which is really how the pattern kind of comes together. So then you'll have this square, then you'll just move down and have another square, and it just keeps going and going. For this pattern, it is really, really, really important that you measure the number of stitches, because you don't want to end like on this row right here. You kind of want to end with the square. So for this one, I did go through and calculate where to start and where to end before I started. So we are going to start off by the most embarrassing thing to do on camera, which is threading the needle. Talk about not embarrassing. That was so simple. So there are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which works in our favor, which means there's an odd row. So I can automatically assume that this is the 5th stitch and move back 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the edge, but I'm going to actually move back 1 because we skipped that left column. So I'm actually going to move back 2, 3. So with that being said, I'm going to start all the way up here. I'm going to just skip for my pattern's sake. I'm going to make sure I grab that tail end. I'm then going to do 3 half stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. I'm then going to skip the next one and then do another set of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now with that, we've got the half stitches complete, so I'm going to work from right to left to complete the row. Now for the next row, it is 2, skip 1, then do 1 stitch, skip 1, then do 2. There's 1, there's 2, then I'm going to skip a stitch and then do 1 individual one in the middle, and then I'm going to skip another stitch and then do 2. And now I'm going to work from right to left to finish these stitches. This row is now complete. With that, I'm just going to keep working down the rows and I'll be back with the completion. The next pattern, dun, da, da, da. So for this one, it is the cloves one, and you can see it is multicolored. It's also very much widespread. It's a lot wider than the rest of them. I believe it's 15, 17, and whereas the other ones have been like 8 or so. So it's definitely a lot wider than the rest. For this one, I just worked each row individually. Surprise, surprise. Also, you kind of have to be mindful of where to start. All of these line up, thankfully, but it does get a little complicated when you start to work these ones here. So making sure that you have the count and the ability to count is crucial here. I definitely made a few mistakes. To start, you can see the way it replicates. It repeats about 2 flowers each up to like the black stem right there. Ideally, you would end with this right flower. I said there was 15, which means 8 will be the center. And this one is 1 stitch off, so I am going to move over 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure to grab the tail so I don't undo my hard work. And then I am going to just go in, complete that half stitch. I've got 2, then skip 1. So I'm going to complete this with the second stitch. I'm going to make sure it loops around the tail. After that, I'm going to skip 1 stitch, and then I'm going to do the next one. So there's 1, and since we said there were 2, I'm going to go ahead and do the second one as well. And after that, I'm going to work from right to left to complete the row. Now with this row complete, we can move on to the next one, which is 3, skip 1, then 3. That is the second row complete. Now for that third row, you can see it's got the same 3, skip 1, 3 as the second one, but now we're going to add in the beginning of the little leaf stem portion. So we're going to just do the 3, skip 3. There is 3, skip 1, 3. Then you can see you're going to skip 2. So I'm going to skip 1, 2. Then I'm going to do 3 more stitches. 1, 2, Ta-da! Now with that, I can work from right to left to complete the stitches. And now I have got the third row complete. You can see that flower is starting to form. We are starting the stem. Now with the rest, I will just continue working it row by row. So the next one I would skip 3, do that 1 stitch, skip 4, do the 1 stitch there, skip 3, then do 1. And then again, just working row by row. I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera, and then I will be back for the finished result. So cute, and it did end up working really well and lining up basically with this one. This column of the patterns is done. Just wanna see what it's looking like. How cute it is so far. I am so proud. Now let's start the next one down here. Oh, the next one is the chickens. This one is going to be another one of those where each row is different. Decided I don't want to make each chicken a different color. I'm just gonna go with 553, which is that thread. Basically, how I'm gonna attack these chickens. Oh my God, that sounded so bad. How I'm going to attack the process of creating them is there's 15 rows. I am just gonna go row by row. So it's 5 from here, 5 from here. This one's actually very simple. So for this pattern, I think I'm just gonna start with their heads a space down, and I want that to be the center. So this is gonna be number 1, but I work from left to right. So this one is number 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my first cross stitch, and then the second cross stitch right there. That has me centered with this line, which is perfect. I'm just gonna work my way backwards to just finish the row. And our first row is done. For that second row, there's 2, skip 1, and then 1. 1 here, right? Yes. That is the first one. That is the second one. And then I'm gonna skip and then do a third. All right. Now I'm just gonna work my way from right to left to finish. The second row is complete, but you get the gist. I'm just working row by row, adding in my stitches. This is the third row. We've got 1, 2, 3, skip 3, then 1. Now I do want to show a hack that one of my tatreez friends showed me. And if you're here and you just need to cross over and you're going to cross over again, you can stick your needle in through that hole and then stick it through the bottom one. So you can see I stuck it through the top and the bottom right there, and then you can just pull it through, and with that you've got that stitch done. And then you can put the next one here. Because this one's ending, I can't do it there, but it's a really great way when you've got rows and rows and rows of cross stitches to just quickly get through it, and I'm obsessed with it, although it does make my carpal tunnel a lot worse. Okay, the chicken is starting to come together. How cute. Now I am going to just do the rest of it off camera. All right, the chickies are done. So now let's move on over to this one. For this one, we are going to be doing this pattern in, first pick, this color. So I think for this one, I'm actually going to work this way. I'm going to start off with this longer row and these little every 4 go up type of thing. That way I have the placement ready, and I know exactly how many of these I need to make. So I'm going to turn. I think I do want to fold the fabric first. I'm going to start up here. I want it centered on this thing, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go down 2. So right here is perfect. Let's do this. I get really nervous starting. I am going to do that. Ow! I forgot this needle was so sharp. I'm going to do the technique where I go through it like this, just because I'm doing one straight row. And so this technique works perfect for that. And then I did catch this. So now the tail is secure and I can just keep going through like this, just pushing the needle in through the top, out through the bottom. And I'm going to do it 4 times, and then we'll do that top like little thing right there. 3. So now that I've gotten to that 4th one, so let me do this 5th one normally, and then I'll go up and do the 4th. That little top row one. I make this up as I go, but I know the gist is you kind of want to work from left to right as continuous as possible, which is why I've turned it to the side. I'll finish that top one just because I want the process on the way back to be really easy so that I just have to go one straight line instead of going up again. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and move back down to that 6th and do 3 more since we've got the 5th. So I will go in and do this. So now I've got this top 4th one. I'm just going to work my way all the way down, and then I'll work my way back on this row only. And then once I'm back here, we can go on and move over to those other top. Ow, I just stabbed myself again. This is done. Now for the rest of the pattern, I am going to continue working on it this way, just because the next one is just 3 1 3 1 3 1. So I think that might actually be how I work the rest of these. Essentially, I'm putting stitches in all of the 3 that I didn't put one in that row underneath. If I do 1, 2, oh, 3. It touches that one. I'm going in the top right of that 4th stitch from the row before, and then just going in and doing my 3. Dun, da, da, da. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to keep working essentially those 3 stitches all the way across, and then I will complete them all the way back. So for the next one, I will skip a stitch, do 2, skip 2 stitches, do 2, skip 2, all the way across, and then for that top one, I'll do a stitch, skip a stitch, all the way across, and then it will be done. I will be off to do this, and I'll be back once it's complete. We are back. Look at her. She's a beauty. For this pattern, I think I'm just going to start with it lined up with the previous one and just work until it's done. Like, I don't really think there's a specific measurement needed here. You just want to end with the like singular dot, and I'm just going to keep going until I get close to here, and then I'll decide where to stop. But I will be centering on this one because this one definitely has like a central pattern. And then we started here. So I'll start here. Now let's start with the singular square. Do my single half stitch, and then I'm going to finish the stitch by going from right to left. Now I'm just going to go into the next row. Instead of working underneath, I'm going to work 1 stitch over. Going to go ahead and do 1 stitch there. And then I'm going to skip a stitch and then stitch in the next one. Ta-da! And now I'm going to work from right to left to finish it. So that's essentially the pattern. Now all I have to do is go back. So I'm just going to go and continue it all the way down. All right, this one is done. Let's move on to the next. For the next pattern, we are going to do this one right here, which is called Mart el-Farran, which is the baker's wife. Oh, this one also needs to be centered. I want it lined up with this, which actually works out perfectly because this one also needed to be centered. This one kind of follows the same pattern as this. You do 1 and then do a stitch, skip a stitch, do a stitch, and then you keep doing that, but you've got the 3 in the middle, and then it continues that little checkered pattern, and then you do the 3, and then you do the checkered pattern. So let's go ahead and get started. I do think I have to do a little bit of math with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are going to skip a stitch down, go here. I'm just going to start the stitch there, and then we'll finish the stitch and secure the tail, finishing the stitch from right to left. Go 1 stitch to the left, pull it through, connect it to the one in the top. I'm going to skip a stitch over and then do a stitch in the next one, and then I will work from right to left to finish the stitches. Here we're going to go 1 more row over to the left, do a stitch, skip a stitch, do a stitch, skip a stitch, do a stitch, work from right to left to finish that, and then repeat that 3 times. And then we go back to 2 stitches and then 1 stitch. So I'm going to move over 1 column to the left, pull it through, complete the half stitch, skip a column, then do the next stitch, bum-ba-da-da, go into there, yeah, and then skip another stitch and go into the next one, like that, and then we're going to work our way from right to left to finish the stitches. Now that I've done those 3, I'm going to just repeat the same thing 2 more times. Next, we are going to basically do the opposite of the first 2. So I'm going to go 2 stitches and then 1 stitch. So there's my 1. And then there's my 2. And then I'm working from right to left to finish off those stitches. Next is the 1 stitch, so I'm going to go ahead, stitch that in the next row. So there's 1. And then I'm going to work from right to left to finish it. And there is that first stitch complete. So now that this single stitch is complete, I'm just going to reuse that individual stitch to start the next one and essentially keep doing that. So I will do that and I will be back once it's complete. This is what it is looking like complete. Let's take off that waist canvas. So I'm just going to start by undoing this red thread first. It's the easiest of the waist canvas adventures because let me tell you, waist canvas is the absolute bane of my existence. Thankfully, there's not like that much to have to pull through. I can cut off a lot of this, and what I'm going to do is cut these strips off. That way I can use them in a future project. What I'm going to need is, but I'm also going to need this for when we go in between, as well as some tweezers. I think I have to cut every single one of these, like in between all of them. That way it has like a start and an end. You can't pull threads without both ends being there. This is the scariest part. This is where I cut every single one of my projects. But Bismillah. Let's just see if I can just do this and then ta-da, just pulling it through these and then pulling up. You can see my shaky hands are coming in already. So what I'm going to do is basically repeat the process about removing the waist canvas around it, trying to salvage as much of it as possible so I can reuse it, and then going in with these 3 tools to clean up. I'll be back once this is done and then we can frame it. It only took 3 episodes, a slice of cake, a soda, and a few bathroom breaks to get me through this. But we are finally done. There's definitely a mess. This is the frame I got last time that didn't work out for my other embroidery project, but it's going to work perfectly for this, hopefully. To do this, I'm just going to put this underneath, line everything up, and then I'm just going to put the pins in. I'm just going to start with the top. Let's do the bottom, I think should be next. But what I am making sure is I'm pulling it tight. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's not perfect. It's definitely see-through. but it's not bad. This is good. I just need to do the corners, which I'm just gonna fold like this and then pin. One last step. Look at it. Okay, I think it needs a steam. I am so happy I learned about Falastini tatreez and all of the different patterns and the different types of stitches and things like that. This was a really, really fun beginner-esque learning process, and I highly recommend it. I love these stitches. I'll link the PDFs I used below so that you can look at the other stitches available. But with that, I am off to take a little break because my hands hurt, but I am already thinking of my next tatreez project.